Welcome to the Wizards 3 podcast. Wait a minute. This isn't right.
No, I mean, you're going good.
I'm going good.
Wait a second. That is not what this is. This?
Hey, we're hosting you.
No. I'm hosting you.
Okay.
Welcome to Sawyers Film School.
Yay!
It is a brand new thing we're trying out. First thing that we're ever putting on video. So
Exciting stuff.
it is exciting. I'm very excited.
Whoa, because it was your idea.
Well, yeah. You guys had some input.
Sorry.
Whoa. Oh my God. Okay. Pack it up. Okay. So this is a show that I came up with to basically fill in holes with in my film watching, because there's always those times when you ask somebody, "Hey, have you seen this movie?" and they're like, "No."
Macklin.
Which
you were already looking at me.
So I figured that this would be a good way to do it. Well, introducing you guys to a lot of
movies.
A lot of movies.
So the basic setup of this, for the first couple of episodes, that'll be just the decades. So a couple of films that I've chosen from each decade, and then eventually it will move on to being yearly, because eventually it becomes I can't
Unbearable.
I can't exclude so many films, so I figured it'd be easier to make it more of a year by year thing. So it'll be really easy to watch this episode, which will be depending on how they're watching this, will be the 1930s. So the first decade that we're doing. There's great stuff that comes out before the 30s, and there's great stuff that comes out while we're doing this, but there are lots and lots of movies on this list, and I didn't want to crowd them out with
A lot.
there are so many, so I didn't want to crowd them out with.
And you added to it after we were like, oh, there's 500 plus movies on this, and you're like, actually it's 600 now.
When there's more movies from newer decades that we would like to watch and that we will talk about more often, we're probably going to just exclude the ones that we'll never talk about again.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also good to have a baseline sort of thing, so you can see the influences that the movies from the 30s will have on the movies that come up later on. So
because then we can see where the cliches were built.
Exactly.
Instead of just seeing them in action.
Exactly. So this week we have 4 films. We have Frankenstein, 1931.
Spooky.
We have 1936's Modern Times.
Charlie Chaplin. Love him.
Not anymore.
Bringing Up Baby from 1938. Howard Hawks. And finally, the ever-present Wizard of Oz.
So, who hasn't seen that movie?
Have you seen that movie, Aiden?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So there'll be some rewatching. There'll be some watching for the first time, and I think we're all really excited. What movie do you guys think are you most excited for this week?
Out of this decade?
Yeah.
Frankenstein.
Yeah,
I'm excited for Frankenstein too. My second one definitely would be Charlie Chaplin though, just because I love me some Charlie Chaplin. Not excited for Wizard of Oz though, because it's been forever since I've seen it, and I just remember being really bored with it.
I like Wizard of Oz.
I haven't seen Wizard of Oz in years, and I've been meaning to rewatch it. So, once again, I think what I'm most excited for is probably Modern Times, because if you've seen anything about Frankenstein, you know what happens in it, basically. And
that's fair.
I've seen both Bringing Up Baby and Wizard of Oz, and I think you guys will like all of the movies that I've selected for this decade. So I'm
sure we will.
We should wrap this part up and get into watching Frankenstein.
So we will be back.
Yep.
After we've watched the movie.
Yes. Exactly.
So
not a moment sooner.
Peace out.
Don't expect me to see me sooner. Hey, it's Aiden. So just want to let you guys know, between the preamble before we see the movie and the reviews and talking about the movie after we see the movie, just want to let you guys know that we have a bunch of other episodes. We have a complete other series, actually. We're on season 2 of that one. That one you can go check out on Spotify. It's pretty cool, just saying. Think you guys would love it if you like this. So, yeah. I think that's really all I have to say. Yep. All right. Well, looks like we're ready to continue with the rest of it. So, yep. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go. Bye.
Welcome back to Sawyers Film School, where today we are making our way through the 1930s, and we are at our first film, which is Frankenstein.
Woo! It's a very goofy movie.
First things first. I realized after doing that last part that I hadn't thanked our lovely producer, who is also my lovely partner, Nasa. She's just off screen right over there.
Hi, Nasa.
Do you have anything to say to the cameras that aren't facing you?
No.
But we appreciate it and thank you very much
you, Nasa.
for everything that you're doing for us. So, okay, getting into Frankenstein. The film was released in 1931. It was directed by James Whale.
What a name.
Yeah, I know. It's like, it was directed by, or not directed, it was written by John L. Birdstein, Francis Edward Farrago, Garrett Fort, Robert Flory, and John Russell.
Wow, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's a crew.
This is according to Letterboxd, the #1 source for all film stuff.
Oh, all right.
Subtle sponsorship, but not really.
Not really. I mean, Sawyer is a patron.
It's very true.
I pay for it. What can I say? I can change the posters. It's cool. And then it stars Boris Karloff, Colin Clive, May Clark, among many others. Okay, what did you guys think?
Best takeaway of the movie ever.
I really, I personally really enjoyed it. It's a very simple linear story, I think, and so it's a nice way to start off this film school endeavor, if you will.
It didn't. I liked it quite a lot.
And I've only ever seen like spoofs of the original Frankenstein
me
story.
too.
And so while I know the actual idea of it, I've never actually watched the movie. So it was really cool to see where the actual like the spoofs ideas came from.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing more to
It
add?
took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I really did. Okay, 1 second.
You're all good. You're all
Breathe.
good. I think I'll take over here. I really enjoyed seeing the start of something. It doesn't really feel like seeing what will come in the future, and I've seen like Young Frankenstein is really funny. It's basically Frankenstein but like played for laughs, played like
A spoof.
yeah, it's a spoof, but it's like basically it just shows how stupid the movie is. So it's like
It very much is.
yeah. Do you have any thoughts before I have some notes that I'd like to share with you guys.
Oh God. Like thoughts? How so?
Just what did you think?
I had a blast watching that movie. Like knowing it was an older movie, I was like, it's probably going to be like really slow and really boring.
Yeah.
But it'll be Frankenstein, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
No. Oh my God, that was so funny. Whether it was meant to be funny or not, I loved watching that movie.
Yeah.
It was the best 70-minute movie I've ever seen.
Spoilers if you haven't seen Frankenstein, but it was
Yeah.
really my favorite part of the movie, and the funniest part too was when he was like throwing flowers into the lake, and he's like, and then grabs a little girl and tosses her into
Chucks
the
her
lake.
in and she dies.
Okay, I'll share my notes.
Okay.
I started these notes about 25 minutes in when the Frankenstein, the scientist, right after he's do his "It's alive, it's alive,"
Yeah.
which is really great, a really great scene. I really love that.
That was good.
So
I quoted that movie before I even knew where it was from.
Yep, I think everybody's
probably.
Yeah.
Everybody's done that. Yeah, I mean, I've quoted that 100 times. Okay, I put Baron Frankenstein has like multiple silly little hats that he wears every time. He's the father of the Frankenstein, the scientist. He shows up and he's got this silly little hat on, and then later on he's got another silly little hat, and I really love that. I really like when characters just have a goofy hat on.
Yeah.
He just got a wardrobe, man.
How Frankenstein has very, very cool hats.
And then I wrote incredible sets. Like throughout the movie, it's like all practical sets.
They
all
all look
gorgeous
so
looking.
good.
It's crazy.
That little girl actually was thrown into water.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that was like an actual pond or something.
Then I wrote down everybody is in a really nice suit. like every character is in a really nice
Even
suit.
Frankenstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even the scientist, they cut back to him after he's brought his creation to life, and he's just in a suit.
And even the creature has a suit on.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Hey, if you're gonna be
hulking-
brought into the world through lightning,
Better be
you
brought
gotta
in-
enter it with a bang. If you know what I mean.
Gotta be enter bougie as hell.
yeah, it was fire, dude.
Literally.
Yep. When the older doctor goes to like cut open the monster, he like messes up. Did you guys notice that?
No.
He goes to grab something and he like slightly messes up.
And he spends like 30 seconds just trying to grab the
It's
one
like
thing.
not 30 seconds. He sends an extra couple of seconds compared, and they just leave it in. I was like, what is this? You could easily cut that out, but I think it was really funny.
That's good.
Could have just reshot it and had him not
Yeah.
mess up.
Then they fade away on the kill with the older doctor for some reason. He's like strangling him. It's like now he's walking down the stairs.
I wasn't a huge fan of like. I'm sure this will be a trend in older horror
Yeah.
movies of like the kills are very off screen, but
Yeah.
I'm just not a huge fan of that, and that might be because I've been more adapted to like the 80s and
Onward,
beyond
yep.
horror, where a lot more of it is on screen and people
Yeah.
were
I feel like it's
not
'cause
as
they could
afraid of
actually
it.
do that though.
I think that from what I know, this movie was a victim of censorship. Like this is around the time when the film code goes into action, which is I don't remember what it's called. Maybe I think it's called the Hays Code. I can look it up right now.
It was when they said by law every monster movie gotta go.
Every
it's
monster
true.
movie has to go,
Yeah. Okay. So wait, no, this is pre Hays Law, Hays Code, because all the other movies will be
It was censored
Part of
because
it.
they were all real
Oh.
deaths.
yeah. So it was before they started really censoring stuff, but this is still at a time when you couldn't really show that stuff.
Yeah.
Because the makeup looks great, but I don't know if you could make it look really, really great for like the kills and stuff. And I just don't think that it was acceptable
Yeah,
on
that's
screen.
fair.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier nowadays where you can just slap an R rating or an NC-17 onto
exactly.
it and be like, yeah, there's going to be all sorts of
Someone
intestines.
gets like chopped in half and like it's fine.
Yeah.
Someone almost rips their eye out. Talk to me. It's fine.
Awesome stuff.
It's awesome stuff.
Then I wrote down, could Boris Karloff see with the makeup on, which goes with the what we were just talking about with he sort of looks. He sort of
like-
looks like he at some points looks high because his like
His eyelids were also like extended too.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
looked like they were like drooping all like.
yeah. But then other times he looks perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like it was so weird. Also, okay, so I mentioned these little notes because you guys were talking about when he kills the little girl. I wrote down, how did she drown? They're a foot from land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
they're like a foot from land. I barely think she would like, even if your like body is like, even if you ate like a pound of nachos, you're
Even
still
if you
gonna
were the-
float to the top.
even if you were the densest person, you would still float to the top.
Yeah, and I think, like, even if you can't swim, you can probably stand up. That's just how water
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. Unless it's like that one part of the pond that's like just really deep for no reason at the shore.
That's true. It might be the case, and it's a movie. Who cares? We'll never know.
true.
But
fair.
I just thought it was really funny watching her drown. One.
in 0.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible that the monster is so strong that he just threw up and knocked the wind out of her.
True.
That's true, yeah.
But she does sort of
she
flail
does
around.
scream
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
She does
So-
go, and then you don't hear anything else because it cuts away. But before it cuts
The
away,
water was oobleck. It just went boom.
Yeah. The monster surprisingly maneuvers himself, like he's like going through windows and stuff.
Yeah, like-
usually the monster is like
Yeah.
sort of just like walks like that.
that's
but in this, he's,
every
like-
adaptation I've seen of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But and like I've read the book, like it was for English class. And in the book he's like an actual like monster, like I don't even know what you could like compare him to, but he's a lot more like if you
He's a lot more.
a lot less. He's like running around, like he's incredibly fast. He's way smarter. Like the monster has like multiple chapters of him just like talking, and he's really eloquently spoken. It's really funny. Comparing it to this, but I mean, I prefer this version of the character just because it's more fun to watch on screen. Like, I wouldn't want to watch a movie where it's 8 guys talking, like walking around, and this guy who's like a monster also being like,
I'm going to smash your brains in.
exactly.
Oh, little girl, why don't you learn to swim? Oh!
Enters a roast battle with all of his victims.
He like,
oh, you can't survive a fall from a windmill? Oh, I could.
he tokes from his enormous pipe. Did you guys? Did you guys notice the Baron's enormous pipe? It was literally like this long.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. This is a big era for pitchforks and torches.
Oh yeah, but weirdly enough, there was no pitchforks in this movie.
I thought,
dude, those mobs were fire.
When they tried to get into the windmill at the end, they used a really big tree log. Like, did you guys notice that? It was like a huge log that they just try to knock the door in with.
Also, how lucky is it that when Frankenstein closed the door, some of the windmill just happened to close down, like fall down and end up blocking the door?
It was perfect.
It's perfectly lucky.
But I think it was so funny that they used such a giant log for that.
It's like, oh my god, we have to break in. Let's not burn it. Or like just try to burn the door. Let's go chop down a tree and then do it, instead of, like, I don't know, using maybe the axes we use to chop down the tree.
How are you supposed to chop down the wood behind the door? Oh, wait.
What?
No, I thought.
Never mind.
Let's move on.
I wrote down R.I.P. Frankenstein. He was thrown onto a windmill, like the actual turning thing. I don't know what that's called.
There's turbine? No, that's the
giant ones.
That's the giant ones that
whatever the thing that spins.
Yeah.
Like, he's like thrown onto that and he just survives.
Yeah.
Like,
no
wild.
way. Like, I mean, he was thrown on his stomach, so maybe that's more likely. But if he was thrown on his back on
the doctor said all the bleeding was internal. That's where the blood's supposed to be, right?
Exactly. I mean, back then they would have been something they would have said.
Yeah, it would have been fine.
I'm right. Let the record show.
Good for you.
And then the last thing I wrote down is, poor fellow, sad face. You just know that was real fire at the end with the monster.
Yeah. I wonder why they cut away from him being burned alive so fast.
But he's like actually being like, there's like fire all around him. You just know that would have been so hot. Mm-hmm. So that
including
makeup,
being in all the makeup.
Exactly.
And stuff.
Makeup would not have been fun to be in.
No.
Dude, imagine how careful they had to been if, like, they used actual fire in the set and they had cameras up close because they were using celluloid.
Yeah, that would have been actual film.
Yeah.
I just call it actual film.
Actual film,
and that is incredibly flammable.
As anyone who's seen Inglourious Bastards would know.
Yeah,
I haven't.
You should. It's
well,
a really good
it's
movie.
on the list.
How many Tarantino flicks are on there?
All of them, probably.
Probably.
I don't know.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Reservoir Dogs is on there. I know that much.
Yes. Okay. I have a little bit of trivia.
Okay.
Oh God.
I've just one little bit of trivia. I thought it'd be pretty fun to have on here.
I'm gonna like this. This is fun.
During production, there was some concern that the 7-year-old Marilyn Harris, who played Maria, the little girl thrown into the lake by the monster, would be overly frightened by the sight of Boris Karloff in costume and makeup when it came time to shoot the scene. When the cast was assembled to travel to the location, Harris ran from her car directly up to Karloff, who was in full makeup and costume, took his hand and asked, "May I drive with you?" Delighted, and in typical Karloff fashion, he responded, "Would you, darling?" Then she rode to the location with the monster. That was from IMDb.
That's actually kind of cool.
That's really cool.
I think that's a very sweet thing.
Yeah, that reminds me of like the most recent It movie. It's like Bill Skarsgård was in all that makeup, and so the child actors got to see him like the day of, and then he was just like, every time after he skipped him, he was like, "Are you okay? Like, are you okay? I don't want to cause any trauma to you or anything."
Well, I feel like that would be even scarier if the person that scared you is like, "Are you okay?" in full costume.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice. Like, I feel like the guy that played Frankenstein seems like a really nice guy.
I take it he's since passed.
Probably.
Yeah, probably.
He was like, I'm going to assume 30 in like the 30s.
Yeah. So Probably. Most of the people, I'm pretty sure that all of the people involved in this are probably dead.
That's fair.
And I think that that's probably a good spot to end this.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you guys.
Closing remarks on the film.
It's enjoyable. I think I recommend it.
I would highly recommend it.
Good point. Thanks again for watching, and we will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Thank you, guys.
Enjoy this one.